Today we continue with our class, the Shabbos kitchen. Today's class number 4. Okay, let me start. Please, we start with what? Start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And today's topic is classic illustration. The following incident recorded in Talmud, Shabbos 127b, illustrate the extent to which a Jew must judge his fellow favorably. Okay. A man from Israel, Upper Galilee, hired himself out for the 3 years to someone living in the southern part of the land. So from north, this guy came to work for somebody in the south. Okay. At the end of the 3 years, on the eve of Yom Kippur, the worker requested his wages so that he could return home and feed his family. Okay. I'm not sure why it's on the eve of Yom Kippur. I don't know, maybe he wanted to pray in a synagogue somewhere. That's my guess, right? So he wanted money, pray somewhere else, and continue to his family. His employer responded, "I have no money." "Then pay me with fruit," said the worker. "I have none," came the reply. "Pay me with the land." "I have none." I have none. "Pay me with the livestock." "I have none." "Pay me with the pillows and blankets." "I have none." The worker slung his pack over his shoulders and headed home, bitterly disappointed. At the conclusion of the sukkahs, the employer, so basically he said, "Pay me, no money, right? Give me land, okay, it's something, no money, I have none. Livestock, none." But we have to understand, this person is worked for him 3 years, so he knows that, or he guesses that he has money, the employer has money, right? And he guesses that he sees the livestock, he has the fruits, so how this employer can say that I have none? Pillows and blankets, he said, "I don't." That's the problem. The worker slung his pack over his shoulder and headed home, bitterly disappointed. After 3 years, all of us would be very disappointed. At the conclusion of Sukkot, the employer appeared at the worker's door with the money in hand, along with 3 donkeys, bearing fruit, drink, and delicacies. The food was brought inside, and the two enjoyed a hearty meal together. Afterwards, the employer paid the worker in full. So, okay. So this person got home very disappointed. A few weeks later, this employer is coming with the money, with the fruit, with the meal, with everything, right? So what's going on? The employer then asked, when you ask for the earnings, that I reply, "I had not money, I have no money. What did you think?" The worker replied, "I thought that perhaps a deal that you could not pass up had come along, and you had used all of your cash for that." So it's very common for a businessman not to have cash, right? They have some liquid assets, but no cash. Very possible, right? And when I said that I had no land, I thought that perhaps your land had been leased to others, right? Also possible. And when I said that I had no fruit, I thought that perhaps your fruit had not yet been tithed. So first you have to tithe, meaning give to a coin, then you give to a Leib, then you take another 10% for in the 3rd and 6th year to the Maser Ani for poor people, or in all other years you take to Yerushalayim and eat there. So basically, until you separate all of these things, so you're not allowed to eat it or give it to somebody else, because it has contained part that is not yours. That's what it says. That's why he could not give this Jew to because he would transgress. 1 second, 410. 243. Okay, continue with the story. And when I said that I had no pillows and blanket, I thought that perhaps you dedicated the possession to the temple. It's also possible. 1 second, sorry. Okay. To the temple. The employer exclaimed, I make an oath that is exactly what happened. Right? So he said, you judge me favorably, but that's exactly what happened. Just as you judge me favorably, so too should the omnipresent judge you favorably. And we know that's exactly how it works. The way we treat others, HaShem treats us also. Okay. And indeed, the Soledes teach, one who judges his fellow favorably is judged favorably by heaven. Okay. HaShem. So it's from Talmud Shabbos. All right, so we continue with our class Shabbos kitchen. So we went a little ahead, but I want to come back, return a little. And just to remind us, so we learn in the chapter number, we got to chapter number 3, and on page 28. And the subject was immersing food into hot vessels. So basically, we said the vessel is empty, right? Or it has food inside, so it's still it still have potency to cook the things, right? Let's say for simplicity, so we're talking about things that have something inside. And we said very important things, that we have 3 grades of the vessel. So we have first vessel, Kli Rishon, second vessel, Kli Sheni, and the third vessel, Kli Shlishi. So Kli Rishon, we said, what is Kli Rishon? It's original vessel that was on fire. On fire, on a blech, right? Okay, that was on fire. Then if somebody transfer from that original vessel to the second vessel, it's a Kli Sheni, is a second vessel. And if from that vessel you transfer to the next vessel, that's Kli Rishon. Okay, so three degrees of the vessels. So let's start with the Kli Rishon. The Halachos of Kli Rishon. A. Food may not be placed in Kli Rishon. Foods that may not be placed in Kli Rishon. The heat of Kli Rishon is extremely important. Means extremely important means of cooking. So meaning it's going to cook. Like even you took it off the black, and it's not as hot, but it's still very, very like inside. The temperature is still there, right? Therefore, the laws of cooking are no different with respect of Kli Rishon with any conventional source of heat. So it doesn't matter if it's on a fire or in Kli Rishon, does not make any difference, right? I mean, halachically. No uncooked food or drink may be put inside of the Kli Rishon, even after the Kli Rishon is removed from the source of heat. Okay, so the halacha is very simple. So if it's uncooked food, this food is going to get cooked, right? Or, for example, if it's baked food, so we may put there. So we said also we go by stricter opinion that the food is going to get cooked, and it's not allowed. Okay. Continue. If Kli Rishon contains hot foods or liquids, it is forbidden to immerse any uncooked item inside. For example, one may not add any uncooked seasoning. See practical application for more examples. So, uncooked seasoning, like I would say, like herbs, like they just dry them and that's it, right? Like pepper. Pepper is not cooked. Grind pepper. So when we say cannot accept any uncooked seasoning to a pot of hot soup, even after the pot has been removed from the source of heat. because the heat of the soup will cook the seasoning, for sure, guarantee. Of course, we said that if it's above the Yad Soledes Bo. So always remember it's Yad Soledes Bo, above Yad Soledes Bo. Okay. Okay, so last sentence. The prohibition of cooking continues until the Kli Rishon and its contents cool below the temperature of Yad Soledes Bo. So it's very interesting, as this author is pointed out, the Kli Rishon, meaning the Kli Rishon, meaning the vessel itself, the pot itself, and the contents, right? So, all right, cool below the Yad Soledes Bo. So maybe this what is it? The pot is in a cold area, so it's already colder than Yad Soledes Bo, but still inside the soup or whatever this content is still could be still above Yad Soledes Bo. Okay, so either or. Number one, previously baked or roasted foods. The prohibition of cooking. So before that, just before we continue, we said that we're not allowed to put raw food into this Kli Rishon, the first vessel. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
In regards to the seasoning, can we put as a bottom line that it's muktzah to have seasoning?
No. There's no problem. No. So I give you one example. You would be allowed to put it in your plate, in your bowl. Because the things there is in your plate, right? Is not as hot, right? And you eat soup. Let's say we're talking about soup, right? And then you want to put some pepper or whatever you eat. You want to put some raw pepper, right? So in a pot you cannot, but if you transfer with a spoon with whatever utensil you transfer into your bowl, right? From which you're going to eat. So and it's not as hot. So yeah, you can put seasoning there. So season food, all edible food is not muktzah.
But if one wants to be far from making Melachah, can we put the seasonings apart?
So I didn't get the question. Could you say it again, please?
If we want to be sure of this topic of seasoning, can we put there hidden in some place?
I mean, it's not necessary because there is permissible use for them.
Okay.
You understand? For some things there is no permissible use. I mean, maybe for crazy people. I give you this example. This if you have let's say you have raw frozen fish in your refrigerator. Let's say, right, and it's unclean, right? So I mean, you're not going to eat it because you cannot cook it. So unless some crazy people maybe they eat raw fish, I'm not sure. Maybe, right? First of all, it's frozen. So in this case, it's going to be muktzah. But things that are technically edible, but not in the present circumstances, when we have Kli Rishon and it's above Yad Soledes Bo. But if it's let's say in another example, if it's Kli Rishon, right, and it's not on the fire, so you have soup, right, that there's what was on the blech, and you removed it, and now it's cooled off a lot. It's hardly warm, right? A little warm. So you can put seasoning in there. There is no problem whatsoever because they're not going to get cooked. If it's below Yad Soledes Bo, and Yad Soledes Bo, it says when the hands recoil, we say, remember what we say about in the Celsius, we said like 70 degrees of Celsius. I mean, it's still hot, right? So there are permissible way of using all this. Things. Okay, but let's continue, and we see all the exceptions. There are exceptions. So now one of the exceptions, right? Previously baked or roasted foods. The prohibition of cooking baked or roasted food applies to Kli Rishon. So as we said, so not, I think Rabbi Yosef Zatzal, he said that it does not apply. I mean, there is such an opinion. So it's not like some people think that Sephardim is doing this or Ashkenazim doing that. It's, I mean, there are some stricter opinions, but there are some lenient opinions, even among the Ashkenazic poskim. Right? It's not like Sephardics will this and Ashkenazic will that. It's not shown, right? So, but Ashkenazi custom, we adopted the most stricter approach. Okay, to be on the safe side, to be like on a stricter side, meaning the more poskim are going to approve whatever we do. That's the thing. Okay. So we said there is a cooking after baking and a cooking after roasting. Meaning, if it's completely completely baked item, so if we cook it, it's going to improve, right? That's if it's our intention, it's going to improve the taste or change the taste. So that's why it is for sure improvement, and it means cooking, right? Okay, continue. According to this, forbidden to immerse a baked item into hot liquids of Kli Rishon, if this violates the prohibition, violates the prohibition of cooking a baked item, right? As we said, you want to put matzah in your soup, katsu, that would be forbidden. Thus, one may not place baked croutons, into pot of the hot soup Kli Rishon, even after it was removed from the source of heat, as previously baked croutons will now be cooked in a Kli Rishon. So all of these things, or some people even put pieces of bread, right? Some people want to put the pieces of bread into the soup. So I mean, in your bowl, if this soup is cooled off, there is no problem whatsoever. But if it's hot, and we're talking about Kli Rishon in the original pot, is not allowed. Okay. Continue. It should be noted that some croutons are made from deep frying rather than baking. Deep frying is considered to be cooking. See chapter 2. Thus, it is permitted to add such a croutons to a pot of hot soup. So now we're talking about when we are talking about baking, right? So baking, we said that it's inside of the stove, right, or on top, right, but without any oil, right, or just a little oil, just a little to spray, like they have this oil spray, or a little oil, so it's not going to stick to the thing that is staying on, right? That's still baking. But if it's a deep fry, like some things are deep fry in oil, so for sure it is cooking. It's not baking, it is cooking. Okay, so they say if you have such a croutons, I think like if you buy croutons in the store, I think the way I understand most of them is a deep fry. All right, continue number 2. Liquids. Cold water may not be added in small amounts to a pot of hot water or soup, since the cold water will become heated by the hot water in a Kli Rishon. Okay, so let's stop here. So his language is very precise. So, for example, you have a hot soup or whatever you have a pot with a coffee, and it's very hot. Let's say, right? You try to warm up the coffee, and it's very hot, so you cannot add the water. We're talking about Kli Rishon in the original vessel. A cold water, a little. You cannot add a little. Why? Because this water is going to get cooked. So when you add water, you add a lot. Right away, you add a lot. So why? So that the temperature would drop below Yad Soledes bowl. That's the thing. So one more time, we're talking about Kli Rishon. Just remember. Similarly, it is forbidden to put small amount of cold water into empty hot vessel. Or if it's an empty, so you just want to put some water, no. Okay, right. So for example, you just my example would be, right, if you pour this soup out to another smaller container. So let's say you distributed the food, right, and you have just a little soup remain. So you don't want to keep the whole huge pot because of this little one portions of food, right? So you might want to put some water in a pot, but right. So I mean clean water in the pot, so the grease would not settle in, right? So when you put this extra water, there's some water from the top in a pot. So if pot is very hot, so for sure it's going to the walls of this pot are going to cook this cold water, which is a problem. If the water can become heated to Yad Soledes Bo, so I mean, as we said before, if he adds a lot of water, there is no problem. This the walls of the pot are not that hot that they would bring this cold water into the temperature of Yad Soledes Bo. But a little water they can, if it was just on a fire and very hot, possible. In addition, cooked liquids that have cooled may not be added to Kli Rishon, since it is forbidden to reheat liquids that have cooled completely, as we learned early in chapter 2. Okay, so we spoke about few things. We spoke about these foods that were baked or roasted, so you cannot warm up in the first vessel, Kli Rishon. Because why? Because we said they're going to be cooked. Now we said small amount of water, right? Because the water is going to get cooked. We're talking about raw water, right? From the sink, from the top water, right? So it's another thing. And now we say even if the liquid was cooked completely, right? It was boiled water, you boiled, but it's so boiled mean that it was cooked. And now you want to add this water, and in our minds it's cooked. So what is the problem, right? But we said for liquids, right? For liquids there is cooking after cooking. So if it is if a liquid cooled off beyond some temperature, it's much lesser than Yad Soledes Bo, as we said, if majority of the people would not enjoy it as it is, right? So they would consider it's a cold, whatever temperature is it, they will not specify. So it means it considers to be cold, right? And we cannot warm it up. Okay. So meaning for liquids there is a problem. For solid foods there is no problem. We can warm up the solids. Okay, but we didn't get to it yet. Continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I'm about the Melachah of cooking. Is it the Melachah of cooking based on the source of heat, or you can put some food near a source of heat, and if this food is not going to reach a hot temperature, it does not count as a Melachah of cooking?
Exactly. Yes. So it would. What we say? Yeah, it would be allowed. If it in a place that it would never ever reach Yad Soledes Bo. For example, if you put next to the stove, right? So you have a stove. Let's say you have a flame going in one burner. Let's say you have this stove covered with a black. There is no problem. So on a black, it's very hot, right? The black is very hot. It's capable of cooking. But if you put things next to it, so there is no problem. I mean, it's going to be some warm. It's not going to be hot or something. Right? Some warm, yeah, there is no problem. Next to the heat, there would be exceptions. When something was frozen and then going to melt, that's it could be the problem. I mean, there's some exception, but in general, there is no problem. Okay.
I have an example because several times I asked about the gas water heater, and I figured out that the cold water, never touch the hot water. So because the tube is going to the deep of the tank where the water is cold, because the hot water tends to go up. So if you leave I think it's called the pilot flame, the water never is going to reach a level above this temperature of 70 degrees Celsius.
Yes, correct.
So can you leave this water heater as it is, or you must shut for Shabbat?
No, one second. Okay. So if you don't use the water, so here's the scenario. So you have a water heater, right, in your house, and it has some cold hot water in there, right? So of course the temperature is going to drop, like after some time, and the heater is going to get up, right? They start going and warm up the water. So it's not your business. You did not do anything explicitly. That's how it was programmed. You didn't do anything. It does whatever it does. So, for example, it has to keep certain temperature. So even though there is no changes, you didn't take any hot water from that heater, but because the temperature drop after some time, because the insulation can hold only so much so long, so there is no problem. But if you open the water, right, or if you open the hot water from the heater, so it means that there is more room for a new water, the cold water, to come into that heater. That's the problem. That water is going to get cooked. That's the issue.
And what if this water is not going to be cooked because the flame is very weak? Is the pilot flame?
Okay, so no. Anyway, so let's say usually in this heater the water is very hot. It's very hot. So even though you turn off the heater, I understand what you're saying. So this flame, pilot flame, it's very tiny. It's nothing.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. But water in a tank is very hot, very hot. So if you know for sure, let's say I'm just giving an example. So we can always experiment, right? Let's say leave it off, right, until the morning. So let's say Friday morning. I mean, don't wait until Shabbos. So do it on tomorrow, today. Do it tonight, right? Don't turn off the electricity. Don't turn gas, whatever we have there, or electricity. Let it stand, right? And check in the morning what kind of water is going to be. If it's going to be cold, like warm water, like of course if it's below Yad Soledes, of course you can use this water during Shabbos. There is no problem whatsoever. Understand? There is no problem, even though you have new water coming in.
So to finish this topic for now, in my case, in my city, during summer, the water from one day to another gets almost near or even over this temperature. That is a problem. But in winter, it never reaches this temperature. If you open the water, it is just warm. It's not hot.
Okay.
Only in this here in the southern hemisphere, you open the water and it's from one day to another, even with this weak flame, it's very hot.
So as I say, it depends. So if it's in the winter, it's very cold. So I mean, it's only warm water, so you can use it in the winter. But in the summer, there is no permission because it is hot as it is, right? So you would not be able to use this water. Okay. So let's continue. But it's actually good idea. I'm not sure. I'm sure that somebody thought of this idea, but I have to tell my other students. So try to experiment. Just leave it turn off the electricity, right? And see the next morning. Usually you don't need to wash anything with warm water on Friday night. On Friday night before Shabbos, you do whatever you need to do with the hot water, and that's it. Usually the problem is the next day, right? So I'll tell them to experiment and see.
Yes. In 24 hours with the weak pilot flame, it's going to get very, very hot in the temperature range of which is forbidden.
Yeah. Okay. Even in the winter, correct?
No. In winter, no. It's
only in summer. In
summer, yes, it's going to be above 70 degrees Celsius.
Okay. All right. So I think we got the clear answer. So continue. Food or liquids in food or liquid in a container. Okay, in a container. Okay, a container of the cold food or liquid may not be inserted into the Kli Rishon because the heat of Kli Rishon will penetrate the container and cook the contents. Accordingly, one may not immerse a baby bottle in a pot of the of hot water, Kli Rishon, that has been removed from the source of heat, and the contents of the bottle will be cooked by the heat of the Kli Rishon. I think it's a very brilliant example. So you have a Kli Rishon, right, and you have, let's say, hot water. You're planning to use it for tea, and now the baby needs a bottle, and it's very cold. Let's say it's not very cold, but you want it to warm it up a little. So you're not allowed to insert this baby bottle into the Kli Rishon, right? Of course, it removes from flame. Why? Because the water of this Kli Rishon is going to cook milk that is inside, the inside of this baby bottle. Okay. So this is the insertion of the vessel. Okay, so continue. Part B. So part A was what? Part A was foods that may not be placed in a Kli Rishon. So we finished this, and now we're going to the part B. Foods that may be placed in Kli Rishon. Okay, so let's see. So number one, completely cooked solid foods. So completely cooked solid foods you can put in Kli Rishon. Any solid food that is completely cooked, for example, cooked, for example, in a liquid, right, may be placed in Kli Rishon that has been removed from the fire, since there is no prohibition against recooking solid foods that were previously cooked. So the only problem is liquids. Recooking is only with liquids. For example, a piece of cold cooked chicken may be placed in a pot of hot soup after the pot has been removed from the source of heat. So also chapter 7. So I think it's a very good example. So you have soup that you warm up, and now you decided to warm up a piece of chicken that was cooked. We're not talking about baked, okay, not roasted, cooked. So you can put it inside of this primary vessel, this Kli Rishon, no problem. You can warm up, no problem. There is no cooking after cooking. There is cooking after baking. Okay. Exclusion, right? Okay, go ahead.
Can we about the plate, the metal plate? Can we put as a bottom line that is forbidden to put any food over there without anything?
I didn't get the question. Could you repeat the question?
If we can confirm that in the blech it's forbidden to put any food directly over the
on the blech.
Is that right? Or
yes, yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
No exception. No exception.
No. So why would it be the exceptions? No.
For example, putting over the blech a piece of bread.
We don't put. Okay. So first of all, the bread is supposed to be there before that, before Friday night. So that's we didn't get to it. I think it's the next chapter, number 4 of reheating foods. So let's leave it until then. We're going to get to reheating foods. So you're talking about reheating. Let's stay on this topic. Okay. So otherwise, I would say it's too much information. We're going to get confused. Okay. So one more time. Foods may be placed in a Kli Rishon. We said, okay, exclusion, soluble foods. Okay, so here we go. Foods that they dissolve when immersed in a liquid, for example, instant coffee, which is generally pre-cooked in the United States. I'm not sure what they do in other countries. I'm not sure. Should not be dissolved in hot liquids that are in Kli Rishon, even if they have been previously cooked. Likewise, hot water from the Kli Rishon should not be poured directly onto soluble foods. So we discussed it many times before, but that's the source. The reason for this is that according to some poskim, soluble foods dissolved in liquids are themselves considered liquids and are subject to the prohibition of recooking cold liquids. Bishul achar bishul. So cooking after cooking. Although other poskim disagree with this view, the authorities rule that it is best to heat it. The different rules apply when soluble foods are dissolved in hot solids. Okay, page 47. We're going to get to it. So let's try to understand what we're talking about. So what is soluble foods? Soluble foods that can be dissolved very quickly. So the best example is coffee. So we're talking about instant coffee, right? This other coffee is not allowed because it's raw beans. Of course you're cooking. There is no question about it. But here, how would they? I think they grind beans, as we said before, and they do cooking. All of this magic that they do, and and now it's in a solid form, right? But they say you cannot dissolve it. So why? Because some poskim say that if this, even though this coffee, right, that this instant coffee, it's solid. I mean, of course, right. On one hand, on another hand, it's actually they say that the status is a liquid. So it is a solid, right? It's a liquid from which liquid was evaporated, right? That's what they say. So they say that meaning what? There is cooking of the cold liquids. Of course, coffee is cold, right? I mean, this instant coffee is cold, right? Cold in double quotes, of course. And and now you put it in a hot water in a Kli Rishon, for sure it's going to cook. So they say don't do it.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
About the coffee, here it says the coffee I usually buy, it says that it's toast. It will be allowed or it's half toast?
Well, I didn't get what kind of coffee?
The coffee you use a filter is.
The filter. I think it's I'm not sure if it was cooked or not. I'm not sure. Usually, the way I understand, it was not cooked. They just grind the beans. They dry it. They I don't know. They do whatever they do, but I think it is wrong. I think.
Here in the package, I usually buy some coffee, and it says that it's toast.
I didn't get it. That it says on what? That is what?
That this coffee is toast.
I'm not sure what it means.
toast, like
toast, toasted. Okay. I'm not sure if it's considered to be cooked.
But now I realize that to prepare this coffee on Shabbos, you will have to use a filter, and that will be forbidden. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah. Filter is, you're right. Filter is different, separate thing. Yes, and plus you're not allowed. So according to this opinion, you're not allowed to warm up the water on Shabbos. So I mean, I don't know. The best way to what we do, we just drink instant coffee. So buy for yourself just one can instant coffee. Just drink on Shabbos. I guess that would be the solution. I mean, I understand it. Instant coffee is much more money, but only one can. I mean, it would last you for a year if you drink only one cup, I think.
So about this instant coffee, this is new for me. So you have to use the third vessel method also for this instant coffee.
It's preferable. Yes, it's preferable. I mean, some people would say in the second one, and you can add first coffee, first water, and then you add coffee and sugar. Let's say if you want to do it this way. But some people, for example, we do everything in a third vessel. Everything. Why? Because so if you accustom yourself do it everything the same way, you're not going to make mistake when it's a different situation. And plus, it's not a big deal. It takes exactly 3.5 seconds to do that. You understand? So we in our family we do everything in a third vessel. Is it necessary? Always no. Just not. It's easy to remember one way if it's a little stricter, but I don't see any strictness in that. You understand? Okay. But some people, some poskim, just so what we said, some poskim said no, instant coffee, it's not liquid according to them. So technically, you can put it even in the first vessel. Okay. Right, even though it's going to get dissolved and stuff like that. But as we said in our previous classes, the problem is, according to some poskim also, there is that's how you create paint, right? That's how you make paint. You put some herbs, whatever the correct mix, and add water, and that's how you make paint. Okay. So according to some poskim, in second vessel, it would be allowed, but we're still in the first vessel. So if you want to go by the stricter opinion, if you're Ashkenazi person, so do it in a second vessel or third vessel. Okay. Continue. Number 2, a liquid that was boiled and has not cooled completely, right? Okay. A liquid that was boiled and has not cooled completely, it is still suitable as a warm drink, may be reheated in Kli Rishon. See chapter 4, methods of reheating. So basically, I would say that the best example of this would be if you have soup, right? You had soup, and you serve soup to all of your members of the family, and now it's still warm. So you want to put back on a blech because maybe other people are coming, maybe your friends are coming, maybe children would want to eat a little more. Whatever the situation is. So if it's still warm, you're allowed to put it back. There are 7 conditions, but we're going to get to it, under which you're allowed to put back. Or 5 conditions, I think 5, I said 7, maybe 5. Okay, continue. Number 3, an item that will not reach and yet Soledes bo. So that was our question. No, not our question, it was, okay, well, one of the questions. So if the spot is actually of the blech, right, part of the soup, and it's cooled off, right? If an item will not reach the temperature yad Soledes bo, when immersed in a Kli Rishon, it may be warmed up in a Kli Rishon. So basically, as the example, as we said, if you add water, right? So you had colder water, and there you had hotter water. In the Kli Rishon, you add cold water all at once. So now it's all of the water is warm, so there is no problem. Okay, and that's how we get to warm water. If you need to wash something or whatever, you need the warm water. So you take some hot water and mix it with cold water, and that's it. So because the mixture is going to be below Yad Soledes Bo, so there is no problem. That's exactly what they're saying here. For example, a large container of food or liquid may be immersed in a Kli Rishon that contains relatively small amount of water. Okay, because it's not, the contents of this container, second container that you put it in, it's never going to reach the temperature. Yad Soledes Bo. Okay. Continue. For the same reason, it is permissible to pour a large quantity of cold water into the hot water of Kli Rishon, provided that the amount of cold water is so great that the mixture cannot reach Yad Soledes Bo. So one more time, Kli Rishon is off the blech for sure. All right. So you put a lot of cold water into hot water and temperature drops, no problem. However, when doing so, one must pour all the cold water at once. Pouring in small increments could cause the first droplets to become cooked. There is Yad Soledes Bo. Therefore, the hot water before the hot water is cooled. So that's the problem, right? So if you just add a little and then you want to see how the water is, so there is a problem because the mixture of the hot water and cold water could be above Yad Soledes Bo, meaning that this little cold water that we added to the big pot is actually got cooked. That's the problem. Similarly, it is true that one may use one may pour a small amount of cold water into empty Kli Rishon, as long as it is hot enough. No, 1 second. I apologize. I'll take it back. Similarly, it is true that one may not pour a small amount of cold water into empty Kli Rishon, right? As we were talking before, like soaking this container. Right? As long as it has it is hot enough that the water will become heated, Yad Soledes Bo, right? So would not be allowed. Nevertheless, a large amount of cold water may be poured into the hot empty vessel, right? Provided that it is poured in one shot. So a lot of cold water, no problem, because it's never going to get to that temperature. This is because none of the water will become Yad Soledes Bo. So don't do in a small increments, only in one shot. It should be noted, however, that any item that could be eventually reach the Yad Soledes Bo, if left in Kli Rishon, may not be immersed even for a few seconds. So that's rule. It's very, very, very important rule, and that's what we actually mentioned today. So if item, right? So if you leave it, let's say for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever amount of time is needed to get it to Yad Soledes Bo, you're not allowed to immerse in this first vessel, Kli Rishon, even for 1 second. That's of course it's rabbinical, but it doesn't matter. We still abide by all of the laws, right? The same with a blech, or same with area next to the source of heat. So if it's next to the source of heat, let's say we have some electric stove, right? And if it's put something like very close to this electric stove, of course it's going to get very hot, of course, right? So maybe not now, but maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. So it would not be allowed ever. So let me see how long is this chapter. 1 second. Okay, so let's do a little more. So summary. One may not place any uncooked food or any cold liquid into Kli Rishon. So one more time. We've said it many times, but we must memorize it. One may not place an uncooked food, so like as we said, seasoning, or any cold liquid into Kli Rishon. Okay. Because for liquids, there is cooking after cooking. Okay. Sephardic tradition, as we said before, there is no cooking after cooking for liquids. Continue. Baked or roasted foods may not be immersed in hot liquids of the Kli Rishon or any empty Kli Rishon. Okay, so baked foods, as we said, these croutons or bread, pieces of bread, matzah, whatever, we cannot be immersed in the Kli Rishon. If it's just 1 second, even empty Kli Rishon. Okay, even empty. So continue. Cooked foods may be reheated in Kli Rishon. Cooked foods may be reheated in Kli Rishon, which is of the flame or of the fire that contains hot liquids. Right. So as we said, the example of this reheating would be our piece of chicken that you put into the soup. Soluble foods, even if pre-cooked, like we said, this the coffee, right? Yes, should not be dissolved in liquids that are in Kli Rishon. Okay, because as we said, some poskim say that it's actually liquid. Any item that cannot possibly be heated to Yad Soledes bo may be warmed up in Kli Rishon. Right, so one more time, if they never going to get to this to this temperature of Yad Soledes bo, they can be warmed up, right? So meaning you can put bread, let's say if it's in the soup, let's for whatever reason, into the soup that in Kli Rishon, and it's below Yad Soledes bo, there is no problem. So this just remember this thing about solids and liquids, right? For example, the poskim disagree whether ice cream is a solid or a liquid, right? If it's in frozen form now, so it's not such an easy question. So we go by the middle of the road opinion, right? As we're going to discuss in our Thursday class. Okay, so section number 4, pouring from a Kli Rishon. So Kli Rishon, it's one thing, like for first vessel, and now you pour the soup from let's say soup or whatever you pour from this, or or hot water, whatever you pour. Okay. A. Pouring from a Kli Rishon. What is prohibited? If a flow from a Kli Rishon is direct and uninterrupted, the hot liquids being poured from it have the power of Kli Rishon. Very interesting. Therefore, it is forbidden to pour the contents of Kli Rishon into any food that may not be immersed in Kli Rishon. Below a few examples. So let's try to understand. So we have this hot soup, right, in our Kli Rishon, and they say you cannot pour that directly, right, from this Kli Rishon, from this primary vessel, into, let's say, into a bowl, right, on something that directly on something that cannot be immersed, as we said, some uncooked seasoning, whatever, right, into Kli Rishon itself. So technically, right, so we compare the stream, this, as they say, uninterrupted stream, that it's actually connected to the Kli Rishon, so to the actual vessel, right? So it is forbidden. Below, but a few examples. Okay, so examples are good. Number 1, onto baked foods. It is forbidden to pour soup from a pot directly onto baked goods. For example, pieces of matzah, challah, or baked croutons. Baked croutons, okay. Because the hot soup, Kli Rishon, will cook previously baked items. So that's a classic example. So for example, you put in your bowl, you put these croutons, and now you want to put some chicken soup on top of these croutons. So sages say it's not allowed. Why? Because this chicken soup is very hot, and guess what? It's going to cook these croutons. because we said that when we were talking about definition of Kli Rishon, we said it's not actually the Kli. Kli is a vessel, right? It's not actually the pot that has a problem, right? That is a problem. The problem is the contents of the pot. So if it's empty, we said even if it's empty, so it's capable of cooking. That's the one story. But technically, we go by the contents of the pot. Okay, that's why it would not be allowed. Number two, onto coffee. One may not pour water from the kettle or urn, Kli Rishon, directly onto uncooked coffee. Right, so uncooked coffee, I guess this filter thinks that's uncooked coffee. That's what I guess. Toasted, I'm not sure if it's cooked. No, I'm not sure. That's why I don't want to comment. Because this cooks the coffee. So basically, when we have this coffee maker, and now you have this filter coffee, so now for sure it's going to get cooked. Okay. However, even if coffee is pre-cooked, right, it is considered soluble, right? As soluble, see page 47. We're going to get there, and therefore it is best not to pour directly onto it from the Kli Rishon, but only from a Kli Sheni. Okay, so the best way about even this instant coffee to make it in a Kli Sheni, right? So you mean to pour from a secondary vessel on this instant coffee. Okay, continue. Number three. Onto cold liquids. It is forbidden to pour hot water from the Kli Rishon onto the cold liquids, such as pouring hot soup from the Kli Rishon onto the cold soup. Okay, so a person has in his bowl a little left of the cold food, and he wants to make it hot. So he would not be allowed to pour very hot soup, right, from Kli Rishon. That would make the mixture now is above Yad Soledes bowl. Or I would say, I mean, my example would be like if you have some coffee left, right, or tea, whatever you have in your pot, in your cup, and it's cold, right? Comparably cold, right? And so now you would not be allowed to add a lot of hot water to it, because why? Because you're going to cook it, right? That's why we always try that our cup is always dry, does not have any liquid in it, because even those droplets in the cup are going to get cooked. If you pour from the urn directly onto this liquid. Okay, continue. Oh, it's actually okay. It's coming up. Onto a small amount of water in a cup. In the same way, it is forbidden to pour hot water from a Kli Rishon into a cup. So Kli Rishon is an urn or whatever, where you were in a pot where you were warming up the water. As I said, does not make any difference. That contains small amount of cold water, because the cold water will be heated and cooked for sure, right? Even the water is cooked; it's a leftover from previous tea. Therefore, one should not pour water from the kettle, right, or urn into a wet cup. So, for example, you just rinse the cup because you used it before. You want to rinse the cup in a cold water. There is no problem, but you have to wipe it dry. To avoid cooking the droplets of water in the cup, right? That's the issue. If the water droplets in a cup remain, if the water droplets in the cup, if the water droplets in the cup are the remains of the boiled water that had previously been poured onto the cup, strictly speaking, there is no prohibition of pouring hot water into the cup, even if droplets are completely cooked. Even if the droplets have completely cooled. I'm sorry. However, it is preferable, even in this case, to dry up the cup, adding water from the kettle or urn before adding water from kettle or urn. So let's try to understand. So they say, so according to the lenient opinion, right? So as we said that there is no cooking of water that the liquids, not water, liquids that are already cooled, right? So there is such opinion. So in this case, if you go according to that opinion, so that's they say there is no problem of cooking these droplets, okay? Because they, of course, it's as we said, it's leftover from your tea that you didn't finish, right? But according to stricter opinion, there is a problem, and it's warming up the liquids that already been cooled off, right? So that's why we always dry up the cup. Takes exactly 1 second, and you can drink according to all of the opinions. Okay. So let me see how long is this section. Okay, so maybe we do a little more stuff. So it says pouring from it's B, pouring from a Kli Rishon, what is permitted? Okay. Small amount, number one, small amount of hot water, large amount of cold. One more time, small amount of hot water, large amount of cold. Okay. It is permitted to pour small amounts of hot water from the Kli Rishon into large quantity of cold water, provided that the mixture will definitely become not become Yad Soledes Bo. So if you want to wash your face, or you want to wash whatever you need to wash with a hot water, warm water, that's what you do. A lot of cold water, a little hot water. Number two, pouring cooks only the surface. Okay. There is one difference between immersing foods in Kli Rishon and pouring onto a food from the Kli Rishon. Okay, so immersing and pouring on some items, we're going to see what is not exactly the same. While immersing can cause the food to become cooked through and through, pouring will cook only the surface. So I mean, pouring meaning that the water does not stay; it flows away, right? Flows off. One leniency arises from this distinction. Although we have seen that it is forbidden to immerse the container of food or drink, for example, baby bottle, in a Kli Rishon, it is permissible to pour water from a Kli Rishon onto such a container, right? So baby bottle, you cannot immerse in a Kli Rishon because it's very hot, and we said that the contents of the bottle is going to get cooled, right? Since the pouring can cause only the surface of the container be cooked, meaning this plastic bottle, plastic is going to get cooked, but not the milk inside. That's what they're referring to. The food within the container cannot become cooked because the container stands in the place of the surface, right? Surface in double quotes, meaning the only the surface of the food, right? Meaning the plastic is going to get cooked, right? Because there is separation between food and the hot water. Thus, the container's contents may be heated in this manner. So there is no problem. So you can put, if you have a lot of hot water, so you can pour over this baby bottle and warm up it this way. There is no problem. This leniency holds true for all foods, as long as the hot water that's poured into the container is allowed to run off. That's the key word. So run off. It's not going to stay. There is the act of the pouring is done in a sink, meaning it runs off. If the act of pouring done in a bowl, the container will remain immersed in a Kli Rishon. So Kli Rishon is second vessel, and you pour from the first vessel. We're going to get to it next time, this Kli Rishon, Beezrat HaShem. Kli Rishon. In such a case, these methods of heating can be used only if the item that may be immersed in a Kli Rishon. Okay, so you can pour off, right? But they say if you want to put it in a bowl, so of course you want to catch up the water. I mean, that's the ideal situation. So it's not from the first vessel. It's not in a first vessel, in a second vessel, right? But not everything, as we're going to say, not everything we would be allowed to immerse in a second vessel. Okay. Summary. It is forbidden to pour hot liquids from a Kli Rishon into any item that may not be immersed in a Kli Rishon. For example, baked goods soluble foods, small amount of water, or cold liquids. So, as we said, you're not allowed to immerse, and you're not allowed to pour from, right? Okay, continue. However, one may pour a small amount of hot water onto the large amount of cold water, as we said, because the mixture is going to be below Yad Soledes Bo. Additionally, one may pour hot water onto a container of food, provided that the water will run off. So, of course, the exception would be just so you know, the exception would be foods that are easily cooked. So if just pouring over something that is going to get cooked very fast, so it would not be allowed, of course. Okay, so let's stop here. So we finished with a primary vessel, Kli Rishon. Okay, any questions on what we said or we did not say? Any topic, please go ahead.
Here.
Go ahead.
About cookies, I was gifted cookies from Chile, and I checked the ingredients, and these cookies are made from vegetable oils. So would be these cookies allowed?
One second. This vegetable oil?
Yes, in the ingredients, it's all from vegetable oils.
Okay.
So the question is, if these cookies would be similar as kosher cookies.
I mean, we don't know what else is inside. I mean, but oil, they put oil, so it would be like a little more fat. That's I think many in many products like kosher, like in cookies, they put oil. There is no. I mean, that's kosher ingredients. There is no problem. They put olive oil or vegetable oil. There is no problem. There is no difference. Yeah.
Because I realized that in Argentina they use frequently. They use to the cookies. They put fat made from cow, and this fat is not from the milk, not a fat from the milk, but from the meat. So
from the meat. And just so you know, there is one fat that it calls halaf. So halaf, if somebody eats halaf, it has chorus. His soul is being cut off. So halaf is a fat that is they surrounded the organs. So, for example, around kidney, maybe around liver, right, around heart, I think there is also fat. In some other pieces, like parts of the cow, right? So even though they say fat, so first of all, any fat from animal that was not slaughtered, that did not have shchita, is forbidden, as meat is forbidden. But this is on top of it, since it is a kosher animal. And this internal fat, it is double sin. And for this, actually, it's not only double, but for this is a person is getting chorus. So I'm not sure how it would be allowed, because there is for these people, I mean, it's cheaper fat. It's not fat that they can sell that because it is not attached to the meat. I think that they would they would use that fat for sure. That's my understanding.
So exactly as you said, I checked on the factories that use this fat. They are from the areas you mentioned, and they are even exporting to other countries. So I don't know why they do this, because eating a fat is not only not for use, is something that is not for anyone, because
exactly it's unhealthy. I agree with you. Maybe it's cheaper for them. Maybe it's cheaper than oil. I mean,
yes, it's all about
this fat. You see, you have to understand this hella fat. So they cannot sell it in a store as a meat. So the fat that is attached to the meat, okay, they can sell. But the fat that is attached to the organs, they're not going to sell. Nobody is going to buy in the normal mind this pure fat. You understand? That's why that's exactly what they do. They use it as one of the ingredients where you don't see exactly what you're eating, right? And many times, if it's only a little, so he's in the States, I think it's if it's less than 1%, they're not obligated to actually to list it in the ingredients. You understand? Unless there is some the things that they can cause allergy, like a dairy products, like they would have to list it. They say dairy equipment. So maybe there is no dairy product in this specific cookie, but they are made on dairy equipment, and our Kosher agency, they would put D. They put D for dairy. Before they put dairy equipment, DE. Now they put just D, even though there is no dairy in the product. You understand? I do some investigation. I talk to this Kosher agency. So many times it's they have dairy. Dairy, it's not on a list, and they explain me why it's not on the list. So okay, because of the dairy equipment, this or that, or they suspect, they're not sure, so they go by the stricter opinion. That's it. Okay.
So and another question about these cookies: if they have milk in the ingredients, is it the milk has to be kosher also?
Okay, so the problem with the milk is it's called halav stam. So there is halacha not to eat milk, not to drink milk from a non-Jews, because why? Because there is a possible that they mix something non-kosher in there. So meaning that the milk from other animals. And that's exactly what they were doing in Europe, in different countries, in Middle East, everywhere. So because before the refrigeration period, right, they would put, and to make this milk from a cow, like more fatter, right? So they put the milk from the camel or from the horse. First of all, it's good for preservation, and it's they can charge a lot more money. So that's why I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember exactly when it started. Maybe when we get used to in diaspora too much. So and we understood its problem. So I'll just say you're not allowed to drink the milk from a non-Jew unless you saw with your own eyes the milk in process. So if you saw with your own eyes the milk in process, then there is no problem. So when we have this Halaf Israel means milk that was supervised by a Jew. So it does not mean the Jew that was the milk in the cow. First of all, today, all of this, the whole process is done with a mechanism, right? With all of the electronics, all these things, right? All the milking part, right? So, but the Jew was on a premises, meaning to supervise it, that now no non-Jews would come with a bottle of non-kosher meat. So in US, they say many people follow the leniency. So if you say, for example, OU is Orthodox Union, D is for dairy, on the milk. So they say that since these farms would be afraid of the government penalties, so if they would mix something besides the milk, so the way I understand, they would lose their license, would cost them a lot of money. And there is no reason for them whatsoever doing such a not smart move, right? So if they want to put preservatives, there are many preservatives that are kosher, and the milk can be preserved. You want to make it fairer. I mean, today I think the less fat, the more they make money. Like the skim milk or whatever, 1% milk, whatever milk is, they make even more money, right? So there is no reason for them. And plus, they would be afraid to lose their licenses. So many people count on this OUD, meaning that it was, even though there is no Jewish supervision, but rabbis checked and they say there is most likely, there's no non-kosher ingredients, right? But if you buy milk without kosher certification, so the problem could be in the preservatives that they add into the milk. So that's the thing. So even though they would not add this horse milk or donkey milk or camel milk into the cow milk, but it could be some issue with preservatives. Okay, that's the answer.
Final question is maybe for another class, but it's for private Mechalel Shabbos.
For what? Okay, tell me one more time.
Private Mechalel Shabbos.
Prevent or
private? In private.
I apologize. I do not understand.
The secreting.
The secret. Okay.
In private, but maybe it's for another class.
Okay, so yeah, let's leave it. It's very late here. So let's leave it for the next time. But the next time is tomorrow. Beezrat HaShem. So anybody else have any other questions, or we stop? Okay, no problem. So we stop here until tomorrow. Beezrat HaShem. You can always send me the questions. We're going to answer them. Thank you.
Good.